women are constantly guilting and shaming you. It's actually pretty wild. Once you see this, once you like kind of realize how prevalent this is, it's actually kind of wild how frequent this is. Women use this tactic so often, it's nuts. Aside from using their body, sex against men, which is their number one power tactic, the second biggest is guilt and shame. They're going to make you feel like you are a bad person for simply acting the way that you act. They're going to get in your head and make you feel like you're a bad person because you're making them feel bad. That's the crux of it. The crux of it is you're making me feel bad. You're offending me. I feel bad. I feel hurt. I feel this. I feel that. And that is your fault. That's your fault. When nothing could be further from the truth. When we're talking about words, when we're talking about, especially when it's not anything, if it's not personal derogatory insults directed at somebody, if it's not screaming, yelling, saying you're this, you're that, if it's not physical abuse, physical violence, and I'm not saying that these things don't happen. I'm not saying that men don't do this, because obviously there's crap men out there. There's crap women, there's crap men, and men can be terrible to women, terrible in relationships. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But there are a lot of relationships today and a lot of marriages today where, and it don't even have to be a relationship or a marriage. It can just be friendships or anybody you interact with. It could be a stranger, a complete stranger. But if you're just expressing your views or just being yourself, just taking care of yourself, doing something that you love, doing something that you enjoy, you're making a joke, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're being a guy, right? You're not doing anything crazy. These women today, they'll make you feel like crap just for that, just for you being you. It's like before you were ever in, dudes before they're ever in relationships, they'll they'll be great. They'll feel great about themselves, about their lives, they're having a great time. Like we all know friends like this, friends that we were having a great time. We used to hang out all the time together. They were cool. They had no issues. Then they get in a relationship with a woman, with a chick, and if it's a bad chick, which there's a majority of bad chicks out there today, they start they start feeling bad for doing things, for just being themselves. It's like they can't even be who they were before. They can't be who they were before. They've changed now. They've been changed into a different person. Instead of them getting into a relationship where they can be exactly who they were before because they set that boundary, they set that standard, because they're a healthy person that understands that they're not codependent. They shouldn't be changed. They shouldn't be changed as a person, and neither should the female, neither should the woman. She shouldn't be changed. A man shouldn't change her. He should lead her. He should make the decision, but he shouldn't change her. But so instead of that happening, instead of your friend getting in a relationship and still being able to maintain some sort of autonomy, some sort of independence, carefree nature, self-identity, these, we've seen it time and time again. Dudes get into marriages and they get in relationships and they lose all sense of who they are. They get deluded into thinking that they constantly have to take, it's a slippery slope, man. You got to understand that you got to know what's right within you. And the woman has to trust that you know what's right too. She's got to not want to change you. She's got to respect you enough to not want to change you. And she's got to trust you enough, and be healthy enough to know that you're going to make the right decisions, that you're not some tyrant. And women today, the crazy thing is, the craziest thing is, they will have you questioning every move and everything that you say and everything that you do like they're some moral authority. Like they are the moral authority. You should always look back at them and look at them. Are they really a more moral, taken separately? Take you guys, take her and the guy, separate them. So it's just the guy, and it's just the girl. They're not in a relationship anymore. Are you really going to feel like she's more moral than you? Like she's a better person than you? Just because she's more tolerant and just nice on the face and just this and that doesn't mean that she's inherently a moral person. Tolerance is not morality. You can tolerate a lot of terrible things. Tolerance, the best of intentions, oh, being tolerant of this, tolerant of that. You can tolerate so much where so much evil starts to come up in different guises, in different forms. So much things get taken advantage of. People get taken advantage of. But when men get in relationships with women, all of a sudden they get gaslighted, they get mind warped, mind bended into thinking that a woman is somehow a moral authority over you. Like she knows what's best. She knows what's right. She knows how you should act. She knows how you should act, and she should act. But if you say anything about how she should act, oh no. And I'm not saying that there can't be things that you take into account from a woman, and if she makes a request or says that something that she doesn't like a certain thing, that you can't evaluate that and maybe act accordingly. But she also has to be okay with you saying no. You setting a boundary there. You just being like, no, there's nothing wrong with this. No, I'm gonna keep doing this. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. It's like a little girl. Hush, hush. I swear, it's like you should treat your woman like you would treat your daughter. Like just like, hush, honey. It's gonna be fine. Just don't worry. I'm gonna take care of it. Like it's okay. I get it. And then like act the way that you were going to anyway. Because you should be so good. This is the crux of the matter is both parties need to be good independently. They need to be good alone so they know what it feels like to be good by themselves. So when they're with another person, they can actually see if this person is good for them, if they actually bring a value to their life, if they're worth being with. But so many people, they just jump into relationships and without being good themselves, and then they think they're looking for this person to complete them, to make them better, to fill a hole inside of them. And in the process, they end up getting manipulated. They end up getting, because they're so subservient, they're so beholden to this person. Especially with women, you want to be careful with this because they can sense this, they can smell this, and they will punish this. They punish men like this. They punish men that are not just good with themselves, that can evaluate her and see if she's actually good for them, if she can be a net addition to their life. This is why it's so important to be good with yourself. So important to just spend some years single. Just spend some years getting to know yourself, being good with yourself, being able to evaluate women objectively, because then you can actually you can set a boundary, you can set a standard for things that you will tolerate and things that you won't tolerate, things that you'll put up with and that you won't. Don't ever you're not as bad of a person as these women make you out to be. Not even close. They're not some moral authority. Just be when they say that you're wrong or say that you're doing this or doing that, they appeal to their emotions. It's how you're making them feel. That's why you're wrong. They say you're bad or they say you're wrong because of how you're making them feel, because of what you did made them feel like this, and what you said made them feel like this. That's on them. That's on them. Don't let them warp your brain into thinking that that is somehow your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. If it wasn't a derogatory insult hurled at them, if you weren't if you weren't physically abusing them, if you weren't being outwardly just rude, and we all know examples of this. If you're just being you, don't ever let a woman, and this is what they do today. All kinds of men like this, they're getting mind infiltrated, and their women are literally going in their minds and just scrambling it. They don't even know what's right and what's wrong anymore. They look to a woman to know what's right and what's wrong. They're literally looking to their woman to know, oh, am I doing it's terrible. It's terrible. It's awful. It's terrible. The guilt shame thing it's so prevalent, man. It's so prevalent. Once you see through it, once you see how much they do it, you really just start to not really care anymore. Once you see how often they do it over the smallest things, you see how much it's not genuine. It's not real. They're doing it just as some power tactic. It's a reflexive power tactic that is just innate in them. They can't help it. It's like their only thing against men. Oh, you're bad. Oh, you're bad. They want to get in your mind and have you thinking that you're bad and have you submitting to their frame of authority. It's trash. Once you see how often they do this, you're just going to stop caring. You're literally just going to stop caring when they do this. I see it clear as day now all the time. Whenever I'm made to feel like guilty just for being me, just for doing something in my own self-interest, God forbid you do something in your own self-interest. Women do this all the time. All the time. Everybody does this all the time. God forbid you do anything in your own self-interest. You take care of yourself first. You put yourself first. God forbid. Oh, you're terrible. Oh, you're awful. Oh, don't you feel bad? Don't you feel bad about that? Don't you care how I feel? Don't you care how others feel? Don't you care about others? Yeah. This is how they get you. This is how they get you. You just got to literally just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's not even worth your time. Women, and there are good women out there that understand this. There are a handful of women out there that understand this. That they know that a man is going to be a man. And even if she could control everything about, somehow hijack his morality, she couldn't respect him. That's the thing about this. If they hijack your morality, they're doing this to dudes that are great. They're doing this to dudes that are, well, they're not, I wouldn't say they're strong men, but they're at least kind. They're kind. They're the more feminine men. They're the kind men. They're the ones that really value having a woman, would do anything for a woman. They're very submissive. These men, I mean, they're doing everything. They're doing everything for these women, and these women have them thinking that they're terrible. Thinking that they're terrible. In a sense, they are, because they're doing what women hate. So yes, I get it. Women are going to punish this and make them feel terrible. Oh, you're a terrible guy. You're a terrible guy for doing all these things that I want. And it's just going to get worse. I'm just going to make more demands and more demands. It's endless. You're terrible. You're awful. In a sense, they are, because they're making their woman absolutely furious. They're ruining the sexual attraction. They're completely just, they're doing everything wrong. They're doing everything that a woman doesn't want. And this is the crazy thing, is women will say exactly the opposite of what they want. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Once you see this, once you see that what women say and what women respond to, what their behavior responds to, are completely two different things. They're opposite. It's insane. It's insane to see this stuff. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's why women respect men and love men and get attached to men who genuinely don't need them, who set boundaries, who know exactly the kind of woman that they want in their life and what they'll tolerate and what they won't. And that will be able to drop them at the flick and walk away. Because like I said, there should be no women on the face of this earth that you need. Never, ever. The only person you should ever need is yourself. You have all you need in just yourself. Don't ever feel like you need a woman. If you feel like you need a woman, oh, you're done. Cut that off. Cut that off, because you're just going to get obliterated. It's crazy. It's crazy, the guilt and shame thing. They be having men just feeling like they're criminals in their own home. They're criminals in their own home. Like, women are about to take the cuffs out of the pantry and just cuff these men because they're so bad. That's how it is in these marriages and these relationships. All of us have seen this. Like, this is nuts. I be looking at these dudes and I'm like, is this really? What's worth it? I mean, what is there some really good part of this that I'm missing? Because most of the time when I see you guys interact and I see the nature of your relationship and your marriage, I mean, this seems bad. This just seems not enjoyable. This seems awful to be around every single day of your life. Like, what? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? This is crazy. This is why it's so important, of utmost importance, to be alone, to get good with yourself, to spend some years alone and single. Practice semen retention, build that masculine energy within you. Without that, you're gonna have a hard time. You need to build this energy, be alone, figure out what you want, figure out how women operate. Genuinely look at them objectively. Like, what do they respond to? Don't listen to anything they say. What do they respond to? Don't let them gaslight you into thinking that the way that they feel about every little thing that you do, the way that they feel about it, is somehow relevant, is somehow important, somehow matters, somehow is the authority of morality that you should look to. Oh, something's only good if a woman feels good about it. Something's only bad if a woman feels bad about it. Like, this is insane. It's insane. It's absolutely insanity. Ain't nothing worth that. Nothing's worth your peace. Nothing's worth your peace. That ain't worth it. Relationships like this, just run. Just end it, run, gone, bye. But yeah, that's it. I just got back from work. I haven't eaten, so I'm starving. So I'm gonna make some food, and then I'm gonna watch this playoff, or the final of the college football. That's it. That's the video.